What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Burn Bootcamp podcast. My name is Becky Patterson, and I am the franchise partner from Burn Bootcamp Tallahassee, Florida. I have been with Burn for about 5.5 years. So I got started, I got a job offer from a friend of mine that I went to high school with. And she said, yeah, I think you'd be a really great fit. You should really come see it. And naturally, I turned her down. She's like, no, just come to Charlotte, come see a camp yourself. And so I let her talk me into it. So I walked into Huntersville and I watched 2 camps back to back. And that was the most authentically joyous and positive fitness experience that I had ever seen in person. And I walked out of that gym not ready for a job, but ready to stroke a check and have a part of it. And the rest is history. We're just now hitting 5 years as a gym, opening our 2nd location coming next summer, and really excited about it. So a couple questions that I wanted to answer for you guys that maybe learn a little bit about me and, like being a franchise partner. So the best compliment that I've ever gotten is that I had great back muscles. I don't know. You should really just try it with women. Just compliment their muscles. We love it, right? I guess the insult that I'm the most proud of, my favorite is when people tell me that I can't or I won't. So if you ever want to see me do something, just tell me that I can't, and that's a guaranteed way to get me to do it. Let's see, the best advice I've ever gotten, personally, was from my grandma. So the last piece of advice she ever gave me was kind of strange at the time, I thought. And she was like, always have your own bank account and have your own money. And I was like, oh, geez, Grandma, okay, fine, all right. I thought that was kind of odd. But the further I get into business as a woman, thinking that when my mom was in high school in the 70s, women couldn't even have their own bank account, without a male cosigner. They couldn't have a business bank account, right? And to be a female entrepreneur in a predominantly female-owned business that is aggressively pushing into a male-dominated industry is really, really important to me, right? And so the legacy that we're leaving at this point, I think that was really wise advice from my grandma, and I think about it a lot. What advice would you give your 18-year-old self? Don't shrink yourself to fit anybody else's idea of what you should be. Don't make yourself smaller. Take up space, right? If anybody ever tells you that you're too much or you're too loud, you got to run away from those people, right? You shouldn't spend any of your time trying to convince those people that you're worthy of their attention or their love. You got to leave those people alone, right? Because they just don't have the bandwidth for your energy, and they're constantly going to spend their time trying to drag you down to their level. So you just got to find new people. And it took me several years of my life to try and figure that out, but now that I'm in my 30s, I feel like I would have told 18-year-old me to just move on and find more people. But that's the greatest part about Burn, I think, is that you're constantly surrounded by people whose goals align with yours, right? And there's always a leveling up, surrounding yourself with such inspiring and inspired people. What else? Ooh, what's a hot take? All right, so we're going to the holidays, right? And I think that a lot of people spend their time focusing on what they can cut back on or what they should be limiting, like holiday splurges, and they get so worried about that when honestly I wish that you would focus on what you can add right now, right? Add more of the things that make you feel good. Is that adding more protein to your plate? Is that adding more vegetables, getting more water, putting more steps into your day? Right? Getting better sleep, right? Because the holidays are going to end in a couple weeks. They'll be done, right? But the habits that you can start building right now, those are going to carry you through and set you up for success in the long term and will always serve you. So rather than thinking about what you can restrict, always think about what you can be adding to your habits on a day-to-day basis. My favorite piece of Burn gear, I actually don't own. If you have it, hit me up, becky.burn.tallahassee on Instagram, and I'll buy it from you. So Devin was wearing this Burn blue trucker hat. Can you tell I like trucker hats? And I haven't been able to get my hands on it, so if you've got a lead on it, just let me know. What else? My favorite Afterburn bar flavor, still triple chocolate almond, undefeated, you guys. If you're a cookies and cream fan, I mean, you're wrong, but you're welcome to your opinion. What else is on here? Your favorite protocol, I would say, is back and buys. I was never a fan of pull-ups until I started Burn Bootcamp. And now, I think it's such a milestone for women especially to hit their first unassisted pull-up. And such a satisfying exercise to be able to get your body over the bar. So, it took me a lot of squirming and shaking and looking really, really dumb in practicing those. But now that I can hit them, it's one of my favorite things to do. What else? Okay. The 3 most influential people in my life and how they've impacted me. My parents were my heroes. My mom was an entrepreneur. My dad was an entrepreneur. Both really solid stand-up people. And I really get a lot of my community service background and just really like my empathy from them. So I really do try to model on them a lot. And both were just really independent people and just really, really cool. And I think the 3rd most impactful person, and I'm not trying to kiss ass, is probably Devin Klein. He's created a space not only just for women in general, but for me to have a really, really amazing opportunity. And to be able to serve a community in my town that I wouldn't give up for the world. So I'm really, really grateful for that. 3 things that are always in my fridge. I don't want to admit this. Not the healthiest coffee creamer. I wish I was one of those people that could do the whole straight coffee black thing, but that's not me. I like it to taste like, blueberry muffins or whatever, and you can judge me all you want. Hot sauce, right? I need to be able to taste my food, and I feel like the older I get, I'm turning into those people that just can't taste their food anymore, and I'll invite people over for dinner, and they're like, I'm like, what, is it too spicy? I feel like I've killed my taste buds. And the 3rd is always protein snacks. Look, I think any burn trainer in the world is always going to have the most protein snacks in their fridge. My fridge is always full. Always. I'm always eating. If you're afraid to eat, you should probably change your mind. And I think my last thing is my biggest failure and what did I learn from that experience. I think my biggest failure up until the last few years has been a lack of trust in myself and the teams around me. I've always been really self-reliant, but sometimes would play too small because I was afraid to fail. And when I started changing my mindset into failing forward and being willing to fail and just accepting that as part of the process of growth, I think a lot of things kind of shifted for me and things really took off, right? So I always tell people that failure is my 2nd favorite F word, and that you should never, ever fear failure. I think it's one of the most useful tools in development that you can really use to your advantage. So it's been a good 10 minutes with you guys. Make sure that you follow the Burn Bootcamp IG and the podcast, and we'll see you guys next time. All right, let's take it out to Cloud Sun 2. 1, 2.